Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program The Journey Begins, Part 3. We are here on the launch pad with our Darwin Mark II rocket, the latest evolution in... well, I've already done that joke. Let's get her in the air. It's basically a taller version of the same rocket, and with that extra height comes a lot more delta V, and we are going to need it because following on from the moon flyby last time out, we still don't have quite enough tech in the bank, I think, to go and land on another planetary body, so we need to go and do a bit more science. And fortunately there is one more destination left in the relative comfort of our own planetary system, and that is Minmus, so we are going to go and do a planetary flyby of Minmus. Pretty similar mission to the last one, going to be a bit more involved, but well, you'll see. Being propelled upwards here by these kickback SRBs, main engines throttled right down. Start the turn once those burn out. It's interesting because I've had this game for years and I still use the very beginnery ascent profile of just waiting till you get to 10,000, tilting over to 45 degrees, leaving it there until you behave. There we go. Until you get to orbit, and then just thrusting to get orbit. I've adapted it slightly with experience, obviously, but I was playing about with this rocket and tried forcing it to do that and burnt through most of the fuel in the first and second stages. And I tried just doing the alternative one here of waiting till the SRBs burned out and then tilting over, and got to orbit with most of the fuel in the second stage left, so yeah, probably should have looked at a better ascent profile a lot earlier than now. But hey ho, you live and learn. Valentina Kerbin back at the controls for this one, of course. Her and Jeb are getting into a nice little rotation now. Bill and Bob, well, they're getting a bit frantic now. Sort of they want to get into space, but well, what are you going to do? I'm sure we'll have plenty for them to do before too long. Throttle right up. Yes, we are pushing nicely on into orbit. So the Darwin Mark II, obviously a longer craft as I said, but also with a few other subtle differences. First of all, let's just get us pointing towards the horizon. First of all, you can see the solar panels, which are a new addition, a new tech we've unlocked in the aftermath of the moon flyby. And those power the antenna, if I can get it there. Where are you? There. I'm not sure how advisable it is to have a powerful transceiver next to lots of very sensitive electronics, but that's the beauty of Kerbal Space Program. And as our first stage is about to burn out, we can separate that. Oh, a few fireworks there. Yes, so that antenna was basically, I was getting a bit fed up of only having one crew report per mission. So now, let's get her on to about 80,000 apoaps. So now we can just transmit them back. And that's looking good. 80,000 apoaps, 3,000 periaps. Should be able to get into a pretty good orbit. Let's check that out. Yeah, that's looking good. Let's just time accelerate quickly until we get into space. Then we can time accelerate a bit more than that. Time to apoaps. Let's get a point in prograde, not retrograde. I've got skills, me. There we go. Forward a little further. It's got quite a lot of thrust because of the multi-coupler design, and it's not going to take much to get us into orbit, so I reckon about there. Oh, I think it's going to be a good one. Ah, perfect. Right. Now, to get to Minmus, we first need to find the little sod. There you are. Set as target, and we are quite close to the descending node, so let's set up a maneuver there. We need to thrust upwards quite a lot. A little more than I was expecting, actually. There we go. There goes. Ooh, little overshoot. There we go. Right, so let's get pointing towards our maneuver marker, and that is 3 minutes away, a 6-second burn. I'm going to front load that a little bit because I'm probably going to throttle down towards the end just to fine tune it. 18 seconds. Think about 6 seconds to 6 seconds to the marker. I'll start thrusting. There. And then just fine tune it. Perfect. Job's a good one. Let's start planning our manoeuvre out to Minmus. I'm not sure. I'm going to go for a free return trajectory again, for two reasons. One, I like a bit of a challenge, and secondly, it does help a bit when you're coming back, when you're doing your manoeuvre to come back. We are going to go into orbit of Minmus instead of just doing a straight free return trajectory. As I said, not sure what the ideal parameters are. Let's see if we can just eyeball them. 64, 46, I think that's a little far out. Let's get a bit closer. Can we get an orbit from that now? There's an encounter. I think this is going to take a lot of fiddling. Okay, so that did take a lot of fiddling, but finally we managed to get something that looks okay. If you are looking for advice on how to get a good free return trajectory to Minmus yourself, then, well, the very best of luck to you. That's all I'm saying. We haven't quite got a proper free return trajectory. As you can see, we're just going to sort of fly past the side of it, but we get there, and it's going the right way around the planet. We'll just have to slam on the brakes about there. But yeah, all should be well. We are approaching our maneuver node. The estimated burn has disappeared because I had to reload it because KSP was throwing a wobbly. But I think it should be about 20 seconds. So I'm going to go on T-10. There. Yeah, not bad. Probably went a little late. The problem with getting a Minmus orbit is, of course, because of the gravity's so weak there and the drop in velocity and everything, it's so sensitive, and its slightest change at the Kerbin end really does make a massive difference to your Minmus orbit. Just try and make some fine adjustments here. And I reckon that should be us. How are we looking? I think we need to go a bit longer. Minmus perhaps, yep, same as last time, pretty much. As I said, just going to have to really burn retrograde at our closest approach, but yeah, looking pretty good. Right, so everything looking okay. Let's time accelerate forward and get ourselves to Minmus. Up to 10,000. Watch as our speed just plummets to virtually nothing as we get further and further out from Kerbin. I'm just going to slow the time acceleration down as we get maybe a bit too soon. What's going to happen? There we go. That's better. Okay, so we are here. We are here, and there is Minmus hanging beautifully in the background, looking refreshingly minty green. And we have a few things to do now that we are within Minmus's sphere of influence. The first thing we're going to do is bring time acceleration right down. But the second thing is to open that service bay so we get access to those science experiments that are in there. But first things first, we want to see if that antenna will allow us to transmit crew reports back. Yep, that seems to have worked fine. Didn't deplete the electric charge too much. I think we're good, so let's get going with that science. Let's go for the materials bay first. The mystery goo canister. The goo feels right at home here. Well, I'm glad for it. More mystery goo. This goo also feels right at home here. Well, I hope they can learn to share, otherwise I'll have to battle it out. Log temperature. Log pressure. Results as you'd expect in space. Keep experiments. Let's get Valentina out for her little EVA report. 20 science, that'll do nicely. Right, so we need to get ourselves into an orbit around Minmus. So let's add our maneuver there. How fast are we going to thrust? I'm not going to keep it exactly to the maneuver node. It's just more to give me a bit of a guideline as to when and how much I should burn. Retrograde. Right, so let's time accelerate. Oh, we are going so slowly. 1000 speed picking up a little bit. That should do it. I'm not going exactly for this burn, so we are pointing retrograde. Let's fire the rockets just to get us into an orbit. Yeah, that should do us. Right, so now this mission differs from the moon flyby, not only because we're going into orbit around Minmus, but also because it's a bit of a test. Because this vehicle, obviously the final stage aside, is hopefully the vehicle that is going to take us out here for an actual landing on Minmus. So we've just got to. Just got to test a few things first. Oh, our speed is dropping to almost nothing. Let's get us out to something approaching apoapse. Drop right down. Get us pointing retrograde. Right, that was behaving. So, yes, testing this vehicle. Problem we do have is I said I wanted no space junk, so we are going to have to get rid of this second stage, and the way we're going to do that is to crash it into the planet. So just need to burn to get our periaps down on a collision course. That should do. Get ourselves pointing prograde. Fuel tank's nearly empty. I think I judged that quite well with the fuel requirements of the craft. Stage that. Fire up those engines. Then we can just gently thrust, just bringing our apoapse up to, our periaps up to something reasonably close into Minmus, so we get that that close space science. Okay, so mission accomplished. No nasty space junk, although possibly some massive ecological damage for Minmus, but hey ho, you can't have everything. Let's get this round. Oh my god, we're going so slowly. 10,000, bring that down. As we approach our periaps. We're going to be pointing retrograde. Right, that should do us, and now hopefully we can get our Apple apps down to something that roughly matches our peri-apps. I still haven't cancelled that manoeuvre node and it's going nuts in the corner there. Okay, that'll do us. So here we are in space close to Minmus. Before we lose the sun, let's see if we can do another crew report. Okay, brilliant. No usable in-range comms devices. I think we don't have line of sight to Kerbin. That's all right. I think we're only doing 2 crew reports this entire mission, so I can just keep hold of that one. Let's do the rest of the science experiments we've got on board here. 100 science. That will do very nicely indeed. Goose still feels right at home here. As does this goo. Gonna have to get a house share, get a student flat together. It's gonna be a nightmare. Log pressure, log temperature. Out for an EVA report. Just above Minmus's Midlands. Let's get that. Right, I think that is us done. Now we just need to go and farm a few more EVA reports. Now this does take us a while, and it's a bit dark and dingy to look at, so I thought I'd just go through this quickly and spare you most of the tedium, but we do slowly make our way around the planet, taking in all those EVA reports, doing a complete orbit just to make sure we've got it all in. Here we are back on the light side of the planet, Valentina getting out for one more EVA report. Even has time to pop out for a quick photo shoot. And before too long we find ourselves back round the other side of the planet, ready to begin the next stage of our mission. And now, with all that done, we are positively bursting at the seams with science, and we are ready to go home. So we are just waiting for that manoeuvre node to come up. That's a good thing about orbiting the opposite direction to your target planet. You can just get to the side of the planet furthest from your destination, and then just thrust prograde until your peri-apps is low enough, which is nice. Let's see then, 15, 14, I'm just going to start burning here. I don't know how long the burn should take, 13 seconds. It's not hugely important to get it right, not like it was going the other way. God, pain in the ass that was. I think we can thrust a bit more aggressively. And just watch as our peri-apps decreases and wait until it gets to a suitable height. Where are we? Ooh, gone a bit too far. I don't want to go that steeply into the atmosphere. Just burn retrograde, take the edge off of that. That should do us. Get rid of you. We have one more thing to do, of course, but we've just lost the sun, so I am going to time accelerate until we are back in the sunlight. Where are we? Come on. There we go, that should be us. Because, of course, as per last time, not all of this is coming back with us, so we need to gather what isn't coming back with us and stash it in the command module. So let's get Valentina out. Get her on her little manoeuvring pack. And let's go collect some science. Always slightly counterintuitive, these controls, particularly with the up and down, but remove data. But yeah, there we go. The way I'll be doing these missions is the way I normally do. The way I normally do a science mode playthrough, which is, of course, you've seen we've done the moon flyby and the Minmus flyby now. I then normally go on and do a Minmus landing, and then the and then the moon landing. I know a lot of people do the moon landing first, but I think doing the Minmus landing first, because I think that's the right order of difficulty. Because once you've got to Minmus, landing on it is a doddle. The gravity is just so low. Where are we? Collect data, and that's all of that. Grab and board. Yeah, the gravity is so low that it's in terms of just sort of landing and taking off, it just makes it that much easier. I find out that actually sort of you can make do with less delta V in the vehicle, even though it's more of a hassle to get out here. So everything. I should really close that service bay. We don't need that open. So that is us done. We just need to time accelerate and watch Kerbin come ever closer. Where are we? Getting confused there for a second. Watch as our velocity slowly picks up. Watch the debris going mad around Kerbin there. And before too long, we are back at Kerbin and hurtling towards the atmosphere at a startling rate. We are within the atmosphere, so we are going to need to get rid of our service module. That's not what I wanted to do. Get rid of it like that so it shouldn't come back to hit us. And we are ready for our re-entry. This is going to be a bit fierce, but I think we should be okay. And fierce it was, but okay we were. Just past that for grammar. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, but this was a long old re-entry, so we're going to do this at 4 times time acceleration. I was perhaps being a bit too cautious. I set the initial periaps at an altitude I thought would minimise heating on the capsule, but I probably could have been a bit more aggressive and come in a bit steeper with the re-entry. But before too long we pop our parachutes and find ourselves floating gently downwards towards Kerbin's oceans. Valentina Kerbin once more successfully returning from a mission, this time with a bounty of science in tow. And as we splash down, it's time to go and find out exactly what bounty that was. 660 odd science giving us 720 in total. That will do very nicely. And we can spend that science on all manner of goodies, but I think that will have to wait for another day. So until then, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.